So tell me a little bit about your history and how you got into boxing and actually how you got to be a magician, because I'm hearing about both of these things. But first, let's start with boxing, because that's what everybody's here to tune in about.
All right, well,
tell me a little bit about Luis.
Well, Luis is a 141-pounder.
Right.
He's ranked number 2 in the U.S.
Okay.
The interesting thing about it, he's 19 years old, great-looking kid, great family background. But the interesting thing about Luis, he's also a full-blown street magician. And what's interesting about that is that, when you think of magician,
right,
with all due, I think like sort of a kid, like ventriloquist,
right,
kind of guy,
right.
maybe work on computers. Excuse me.
And this kid will work you in the ring and then put a magic.
But then when you put a pair of gloves on him, right, he will just bust you up,
right, right.
And so here.
They got this little kid on the phone. He's 13. He's going to be a world champion. I'm like, he's 13. Call me back when he's 15 years old.
He gets a little...
He's 15 and a half.
Right.
I said, listen, man, tell the kid. I said, put him on the phone.
Right.
Hey, Luis, how was school today? Good. How was lunch? Good. Okay, keep doing what you're doing.
Right.
Train hard. Call me back when you're 16, 17, something.
Right.
2010. And Luis and his father called me. Hey, Floyd, Luis is 18, getting ready to hit 19, and he wants to make the Olympics for American life. Are you serious? Wait a minute, he's 18 now?
Right.
He said, Floyd, we want you to train him for the, nationals.
Right.
So I said, okay, send him over. So Luis flew over and trained with me for a month. And we had 25 of the best in the U.S.
Right.
We went to the nationals, and we placed second. We got a silver medal. So we got a silver medal, second best in America.
I began boxing when I was 8 years old.
Okay.
My dad put me in a karate school because he didn't want me being, a little couch potato. He just wanted me having some extracurricular activities.
Okay.
So he put me in karate school, and every Monday, this boxing instructor would come in and teach us a little bit of boxing. You know, the basics, the jabs, how to slip and block. And I started developing interest in boxing. Instead of karate, I told my dad I don't want to do boxing anymore. I don't want to do karate anymore. I want to do boxing.
So you just kind of eased on over to boxing, started to develop a passion for boxing.
Right.
Okay.
And my dad was surprised. Because I was 8 years old, and he's like, "Do you even know what that is?"
Right.
Like, he was shocked. And I was like, "Yeah, I want to do boxing. I want to try it out." And so he took me to this. It was this gym downtown.
Okay.
And it was probably like 30 minutes from where we live, and it was, it was out of our area.
Right.
And he took me down there, and he said, "You know what? No, we're gonna wait to see what comes up on our side of the town."
Right.
And I started crying
Right.
Like, yeah, I started crying because
So
I
you were-
I wanted to do boxing. Like,
You had that much passion for it
Right,
at such a young
right.
age.
Yeah, I
And
started crying.
When do you think had you convinced your dad at that age? How long did it take before you convinced your father, hey, this is really what I want to do?
it took a couple weeks actually, because at first he was like, okay, you'll forget about it by a couple of days. But no,
Okay.
I kept nagging. I kept telling him I want to do it.
Right.
I kept insisting to take me to a boxing gym and sign me up. And
Right.
I want to say probably like a couple weeks after that.
Right.
The same boxing instructor that would come in, my dad talked to him and he's like, my son is showing interest in boxing. We're wondering if you're willing to train him.
Right.
And he said, yeah, we have like this little gym down here on this side of town.
Right.
And my dad was like, okay, perfect.
Right.
So he signed me up, and then from then on,
It's been history. Now let me ask you, when was the first time where you actually thought to yourself, I'm pretty good at this?
Right. I just, I never really like to tell myself that I'm good.
Right.
Like
You
I
never
like
cocky
to.
on
Yeah,
yourself.
I'm
You're
not.
like, I wanna show myself
Yeah,
in the ring.
I'm humble. I won't brag about
That's a
myself.
great
I won't
reason.
say anything. I let the people say
Right.
how I am. Like if I'm good, then okay, that's what the people
Okay,
say.
let me change the question. When's the first time somebody said something to you and said you have a lot of potential?
Oh, it was right away.
Right.
When I first started training, the first couple of weeks, my coach was like, he's picking it up really fast. He's learning. Like he has potential. We see he has potential.
Right.
So we want to see how he does fighting as an amateur.
Right.
And so I got my license and I began fighting. I want to say around 9-10 years old. That's when I
Right.
started fighting.
So now how's everything? I mean, obviously you have heard about a bunch of your accomplishments. You have over 100 fights. That's
Yeah.
crazy,
Yeah.
to be 19 years old. Now, how are things going? How do you feel, about your chances? Are you psyched up? I mean, how do you feel like your training's going? You're here now in the DC area, working with Floyd and Bruce. How's everything coming with that?
Everything's coming along great. I thank God for it. First and foremost, I'd like to thank God for it.
Right.
And it's just, all these opportunities that I'm given, I'm really happy.
Right.
There's words can't explain how I feel,
Right.
it's just something I want to do and I love doing. It's my passion.
Yeah.
And I want to take it as far as I can possibly go with it.
Awesome. Now, look,